Hi, and welcome to the I Will Till I Recover EHR. In this video, we're going to cover a few of the basics, high-level things that you can do in the EHR. Whether you're a coordinator or whether you're a provider, these are some of the steps that you need to take in order to navigate the system. Let's log in. When you first log in, you're going to log into the Message Center. The Message Center is going to be your hub of communication for the system. Messages to you and from you, well, not from you, but to you, are going to be here, and you can reply to them, or you can read them and take note. The first thing you want to do is be able to find a patient in the system. There are two ways to find a patient in the system. The first one is Finder. When you go to Finder, it will list for you all the patients that are in the system. And you can find them by any one of these criteria that are listed across the top. So you can search by any part of a name. As you type, it will search for that name. From here, you can click into a chart. Now, what if a patient does not exist in the system? In the Finder, if you're searching for a patient and that patient does not exist, then click the Add New Patient. That'll bring you to this screen here. There is another way to get to this screen also. When you go to Patient, New Search, it will bring you to the screen here. You can also use the screen to do the same thing the Finder does, whereas you can click Search, it will bring up all of the patients that are in the system, and you can scroll through to find the patient that you're looking for. This one's a little bit more tedious, but to make it more user-friendly, if I were to type in part of a first name, in this case I'm going to type in Bill, and then click Search, it's going to use what I typed in the first block to try to find the patient. In this case, there is nobody by the first name of Bill. So I'm just going to put S in the last block and tell it to search. Now it's only going to bring me the patients that have a last name that begins with S. So this is the other way to search for patients in the system. Of course, you have Finder and you have Search and Add. But of course, in Finder, if they're not there, then you would have to come to this page anyway. So some people like coming to this page and not using the Finder at all. It's your choice and how you want to do it. Now, if you're going to add a new patient, that would be from this screen here. In order to add a new patient that's currently not in the system, you want to go ahead and put in the patient's first name, last name, and then date of birth. I'm just scrolling for no good reason. And then gender. Those are the three pieces of information you must have in order to create a base record. None of the other information is required, of course, unless someone changes or makes it a requirement in the system to add any additional information. If you want to add any contact information, you can. You can answer some of these other portions if you would like to, but again, in order to get a patient into the chart, into the system the fastest, just first name, last name, date of birth, and gender is all that you need. Then you would click the Create New Patient, and from there it will confirm if there is another patient in the system with that name. The system does do duplicate checks, and it will alert you if there's a duplicate patient with the same first, last name, date of birth in the system, and gender. Okay, so now I'm going to confirm, create new patient, and then it will bring me into the patient's chart once it's created. Always look up to the left to assure that you're in that patient's chart, because up at the left and also down in the patient's dashboard, you should see the same name. There are occasions and instances where the name at the top and the name here in the dashboard are not the same. That's generally a browser issue where the browser did not clear the session cookie. Okay, but that's on the client side, and it's never on the server side that occurs. So the next thing we can do from here, as far as looking at the dashboard, there are certain things that you can see that are in the dashboard. And when you go to documents, documents are where you can upload or attach PDFs, document files, to a patient's chart. Also, there are ways to create more categories for the documents. These are the base categories that come, but you can add an infinite number of categories depending on the scenario in the system. So these are not the only categories that are available. More categories can be added. Now, to get back to the patient's chart, you'll see the little half circle here, arrow. Click that, and it'll take you back to the patient's chart. Reports is the only other thing I'm going to cover in this particular video. Reports are where you would be able to print out documents for a patient's visit. So when a patient has a visit and you want to share that information, the visit documentation for that client with an outside entity or with the client themselves, you would go here, and we'll cover this in more detail in another video. When the patient's chart opens, there are two tabs that open up. You have the patient's dashboard, and then you have visit history to the right. This one always opens up. It will show you the past visits that have been recorded for that patient. In order to record a visit for a patient, you do not have to have a calendar appointment to create a visit record. They are not tied together in that fashion. You can put an appointment on the calendar and have that appointment to create a visit. We'll cover that in another video. But high level here, if you just want to get in and then create a visit for the patient, click here. And the minimal thing that you need for the system in order to create a visit record is to check the visit category, whether it's an established patient or one of these others. Right now they have it defaulted to established patient. The date of service, it does not have to be today. If you want to date it for a time in the past, you can. You cannot date it forward. You can only date it in the past. If you need to change it from the current date, it will not let you forward date an encounter or a visit. So if I wanted to date this because I actually saw the patient on July 6th and not today where I'm doing my recording, I can do so. So I'm going to put July 6th. I don't have to fill out any of these other pieces of information. The billing facility and the facility itself will automatically populate based on my facility that I'm assigned to in my account. And then the visit reason will also be the chief complaint. And I need to put another D in there. There we go. And go ahead and save this. Now, I have a visit in the system ready for me to attach the documentation for that visit. The documentation will be dependent on which type of visit and what type of documents I need to fill out for that visit. They will be listed under these headers here, whether it be assessment, whether it be clinical, lab order. These are the opioid forms that are here, and these are questionnaires. If there were any new questionnaires here, questionnaires are based on LOINC questionnaires that are set out there in the world, and we'll cover those under another video. The only other thing that you would need under here is the fee sheet. So those that are tasked with billing, they would need to go here and pull up the fee sheet. We'll cover fee sheets and billing in another tutorial with deeper information. In this particular case, say I want to fill out a COWS form. Then here I would go through and fill out the CALS form for that patient. Rushing through this as quickly as possible. Of course, you can take your time and do yours as necessary. And then I'm going to put this as moderate. Oh, well, this said extremely, but okay, if I wanted to change that, you can see that my score here is, oh, it said extremely. So my score was there. It scored for me, as you can see. And then I'm going to go ahead and save the form. I didn't answer number 11, which was here. So thank you. It prompted me to answer number 11, which is nasal stuffiness. And so I'm going to go ahead and now save my form. And now I should see that form that I filled out in the patient's chart. Okay. And then I'm going to show you what this looks like in another view as well. I can also edit this form by clicking that, and it'll take me back into the form. I can make any changes to it and then save it again. If there was, yes, I'm going to click without saving. It tries to protect you from losing data by making sure that you save the data, or if you're going to exit the form, that it makes sure you try to save everything and not lose any changes that you've made to the form. Now, we'll cover e-signing in another video, but e-signing the forms is available as well. Now, when I go and I'm going to click this little half circle up here at the top next to Encounter, select Encounter, that's going to bring me back to the visit history. So all of your visits will be listed in reverse or in descending order of date. So this one here is for July 6th. If I were to have one that was for July 9th, it would be above this one. Okay. Now also one of the things you can do, and you see the system just popped up and showed me the CALS form. So I don't have to click into the encounter to read the summary of the CALS form or any other form that I've filled out for that patient or for that visit for that patient. This is one of the features that allows quick access to documented visits. That covers the brief overview of the patient's dashboard and visit history. There's only one other thing that I want to cover in this video, and then we'll call it a wrap, is that the appointments. You can create appointments from the calendar itself, or you can create an appointment in the patient's chart. Both bring up the exact same screen. They're not different. If I click the plus sign here, it will bring up the appointment scheduler. If I go to the calendar, and the only difference is I get to select an actual time, it will bring up the same scheduler. So you have two ways to get to the scheduler, from within the patient's chart or from the calendar itself. Thank you for watching. Of course, if you have any questions, please contact me and let me know. My name is Sherwin.